Okay. Uh, we have two methods for finding the inverse Z. As I said, inverse Z transformation is nothing but given x of n, obtaining x of z ROC is nothing but Z transformation. Inverse Z transformation is nothing but in the opposite way. Given x of z and ROC, that means whenever we give x of n, what will happen? You will calculate x of z and ROC. Now, to get back the original sequence, we need x of z and ROC. So, given x of z and ROC, obtaining the x of n is nothing but inverse Z transformation. There are two methods. One is partial fraction method. Another one is long division method. Okay, right? So, what is this partial? Now, let us go for the partial fraction method. Partial fraction method. In this, what we do is using partial fraction, we are going to convert it into a standard form. Then from the table, we get back the original x of n. That's the reason why we call it partial fraction method. In this, we have some rules to obtain. Okay, right. So first one, we all know that see, whenever x of z, whenever for right-handed sequence, ROC extends away from the outermost pole, we said. On the other hand, here in this one, if x of z, if ROC, if pole radius is less than the ROC, it leads to right-handed sequence. What is the meaning of this? For example, let us say if the ROC is like this. Let us say if the poles are inside. Okay, right? The poles may be here, or maybe here. So this kind of ROC. That means as soon as x of z and ROC is given, using partial fraction, find out the separate standard forms, and then identify the poles and sketch the ROC and pole zero location. Once if the pole radius is inside, all of them are, if the poles are inside, that means pole radius is less than the ROC, then it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Sketch it. If the poles are inside, I mean to say that poles are inside, it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Second rule, rule number 2. If the pole radius is greater than the ROC, it leads to right-handed sequence. Sorry, left-handed sequence. Okay, right. Then what you should do? Sketch the ROC first. So from the given expression, using partial fraction, keep it in the standard form. Then what you should do is sketch the ROC and find out the pole zero locations, poles and zeros from the x of z, and write down that. So let us say poles are here, somewhere here. If this kind of poles are there, then we that is if the poles are outside the ROC, it leads to what? Left-handed sequence. And third one, if the ROC of x of z is ring in z plane, then it leads to two-sided sequence. Two-sided sequence. Two-sided means what? Some terms may having the right-handed sequence, some terms are having the left-handed sequence. Which one will get the left-handed and which one will get the right-handed? Then observe here. Let us say, let's go for the sketching. Let us say ROC is something like this. Let us say some poles are here. Some poles are here. Let us say some pole is one pole is here, one pole is here, and one pole is here, or it may be here. And only one you can write it. Okay. So what is that we have? So let us say this pole number 1, 2, 3. The poles corresponding to the terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to right-handed sequence. The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to right-handed sequence. The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to left-handed sequence. That means these two will be right-handed sequence, these two will be left-handed sequence. That means, what do you mean by two-sided sequence? We have a combination of right and left. So some terms may be right-handed, some terms may be left-handed. Which term will be less? That means the terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to what? Right-handed sequence. And the terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is greater than the ROC leads to left-handed sequence. So we can write this way. That is, if the terms corresponding to the poles this rule is very, very important in the entire chapter for all the three rules. Based on this only, we are going to find the inverse Z transformation in the partial fraction method. The poles corresponding to, you'll understand the meaning while solving the problem. Now it looks vague, but when you are doing the problem, you'll understand. What is that? The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to right-handed sequence. That means if the poles are inside, the terms corresponding to the poles whose poles are inside the ROC leads to what? Right-handed sequence. The terms corresponding to the poles whose poles are outside is nothing but what? Leads to left-handed sequence. Less than the ROC leads to right-handed sequence. And the terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to what? Right-handed sequence. And the terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is greater than the ROC leads to left-handed sequence. LHS, I'll write it. LHS meaning is what? Left-handed sequence. This rule is very, very important. Once you know this rule, next is what are the standard forms. So the standard forms, I'll write it now. So these rules are very, very important. Based on this rule only, we are going to solve the problem. And majority of the applications, if you want to do the applications of Z transformation, you should know Z transformation as well as inverse Z transformation. And one more advantage of learning inverse Z transformation is you will become good in Z transform. So many doubts may be there, or you may not be familiar with the Z transformation. After doing inverse Z transformation, you will become strong in Z transformation. That means finding x of n and given x of n and finding x of z. That become very easy after doing inverse Z transformation. Okay. So table, what is that we have? X of z. Okay. What is given? X of z, ROC, and what is x of n? Okay, right. So now already I gave one table. The reverse of the table I am writing now. Okay, right. So x of z is 1, ROC all z. Then x of n is what? Delta of n. X of z is z to the power of minus n naught ROC mod z greater than 0 and delta of n minus n naught. Reverse of that. Z to the power of plus n naught with ROC mod z less than infinity. See the table already I have given. There x of n was what, for what x of n, what is x of z, and ROC I gave it in the earlier table. Now in the inverse Z transformation, same table I am writing reverse. If this is x of z, this is ROC, what is x of n? That I am writing it. Okay, right. What is this one? Delta of n plus n naught. And Z transformation, in inverse Z transformation, if k into, what is that? K is there, ROC, all Z, then k into delta of n. Next, Z divided by Z minus 1. Just by seeing this one, we cannot tell that. Okay, we need ROC. Mod Z greater than 1. If it is mod Z greater than 1, then it is U of n. If mod Z greater than 1, it is mod Z divided by Z minus 1 with magnitude of Z greater than 1. Z divided by Z minus 1 with mod Z less than 1. It leads to what? Left-handed sequence. Left-handed sequence is minus U of minus n minus 1. Okay? Okay, right. Now, what is that we have? Z divided by Z minus A with ROC mod Z greater than A is A power n into U of n. Same Z divided by Z minus A with ROC mod Z less than A is what? Minus A power n into U of minus n minus 1. Okay, right. Z divided by Z minus 1 whole square with mod Z greater than 1 is n into U of n. Next, same thing. Z divided by Z minus 1 whole square with mod Z less than 1 leads to what? Minus n into U of minus n minus 1. These are only the standard. Other things are not standard one. Two more are there. X of Z, ROC, X of n. Okay, right. X of Z is AZ divided by Z minus A whole square with ROC. Magnitude of Z is greater than A. What is that we have? N into A power n into U of n. Same, AZ divided by Z minus A whole square with mod Z less than A leads to what? Minus n into A power n into U of minus n minus 1. Okay, right? So this is the way. These are the some standard relations. Using these relations and sketches, we are going to find the inverse Z transformation. It is very easy, one thing. Second thing is what? The rules and this table is more than sufficient to find out the inverse Z transformation. Third thing is, if you do inverse Z transformation, you will be learning back the Z transformation and it become very easy for you. So therefore, so easily you can get 40 marks in Z transformation with the help of this table and other Z transformation. So nothing new you are learning. You think only reverse. That's it. Reverse of Z transformation is inverse Z transformation. Okay, that is not the definition actually. See, the definition of inverse Z transformation is like this. Given X of Z and ROC, obtaining the X of n is nothing but what? Inverse Z transformation. Given X of n, obtaining X of Z and ROC is nothing but Z transformation. So therefore, we should be very much careful while doing it. Now, go for the Z transformation problems. That's it. Inverse Z transformation problems. So I'll go for one first problem. So if the ROC changes, inverse Z transformation changes. Find the Z transformation of inverse Z transformation of x of Z is equal to Z square divided by Z square divided by Z minus 1 into Z minus 2 with ROC. First one. 3 different ROCs will find the inverse Z transformation. With ROC mod Z less than 1. Second one. With ROC mod Z. If first one is mod Z greater than 2. Mod Z greater than 2. Mod Z less than 1. And third one. Mod Z lies between 1 and 2. Mod Z lies between 1 and 2. Okay, right? So, how to do this? So, that means x of Z and ROC is given. You have to find out x of n, and different x of n you will get for different ROCs. So, all those things we should obtain. So, first, what is the procedure? So, before going to the partial fraction, always find the partial fraction for x of Z by Z. So, here Z square is there, 1 Z is there, I will take it to the denominator. So, out of the Z square, 1 Z. Sir, if Z is not there, what you should do? Divide both sides by Z, so that always you should get x of Z by Z before going for the partial fraction. If x of Z by Z is equal to Z divided by Z minus 1 into Z minus 2, which is equal to A divided by Z minus 1 plus B divided by Z minus 2. Okay, right. So, partial fraction method. So, you should do the partial fraction for not for x of Z. You should do the partial fraction for x of Z by Z. Why I have kept this Z here, I will tell you that later. Okay, right. So, now you go for this. Z is equal to. So, now take the LCM. This will cancel. Then what will you get? If you take the LCM, Z is equal to what? A into divide this one from the denominator. Z minus 1, if you divide it, what will you get? Z minus 2 plus B into Z minus 1, you will get it. Z minus 1 you will. Now, put Z is equal to. Z is equal to 2. Z is equal to 2. 2 is equal to, this becomes 0. What will you get? B into 2 minus 1 is what? 1. Therefore, B is equal to 2, you will get it. Put Z is equal to 1. Put Z is equal to 1. Put Z is equal to 1. Z is equal to 1 is what is that we get? 1 is equal to 1 minus 2. A into 1 minus 2 is what? Minus 1. Therefore, A is equal to minus 1. Therefore, x of Z by Z is equal to what? X of Z by Z is equal to A is what? Minus 1 divided by Z minus 1 plus B is what? 2 divided by Z minus 2. Now you cross multiply this Z. Because x of Z is equal to x of Z. If you cross multiply this Z to the numerator, Z will come to the numerator. Minus Z divided by Z minus 1 plus 2 into Z divided by Z minus 2. Sir, what is the reason for keeping this Z here? Because in all our standard forms, we have Z in the numerator. For example, U of n, Z transformation of U of n is what? Z divided by Z minus 1. What is that? Z transformation of A power n into U of n. What is that? Z divided by Z minus A. So in all these things, we have Z in the numerator. So, but if when you do the partial fraction, Z will be eliminated in the numerator. Therefore, what we do is keep one Z reserve in the denominator. So that after getting the partial fraction, cross multiplied, so that you will get the Z in the numerator, so that we can do the inverse Z transformation from the standard table. That means, since the standard Z transform having the one Z in the numerator, always that Z you keep it in the denominator and go for the partial fraction of the, what is that? X of Z by Z, not the X of Z. So, once you get this, then you go for your ROCs. Okay, so first you do always when you do this one, as soon as the problem is given, find the partial fraction of X of Z by Z. Okay, then go for the different ROCs and different X of n, you will get it. The first one, what is ROC? Mod Z greater than 2. Mod Z greater than 2. Mod z greater than 2 means first sketch the ROC. Mod z greater than 2. Okay, right. Where are the poles? The poles are what? Poles are, one pole is, we all know, what do you mean by pole? Poles are the values of z for which x of z is equal to infinity. Z is equal to 1, what will you get? 1 minus 1, it is z, it is infinity. So therefore, what will you get? So we get it as, what is that? Z is equal to 1. One is pole is at 1, another pole is at 2. So mod z greater than 2 will be there. This one pole is here 1, another pole is here. Okay, now you apply the rule. What is that it says? If the pole radius is less than the ROC, it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Right-handed sequence. Use the table and write the inverse of transform. That's it. Okay, right. What is this one? Minus, you keep it as it is. That is not a standard form. The standard form is what? Z divided by Z minus 1. Z divided by Z minus 1 with ROC, pole radius is less than the ROC, leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Therefore, you will get it as minus U of n from the table. If it is Z divided by Z minus 1, for right hand ROC mod z greater than 1, we said no. So for what is that we have? For right-handed, if the pole radius is less than the ROC, it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Now, what is this one? 2 into 2, you keep it as it is, plus 2 into standard Z inverse Z transformation pair is what? Z divided by Z minus A format. Z divided by Z minus A for right-handed sequence, what is that way? Pole radius less than the ROC, it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Right-handed means what will you get? A power n into U of n. That's it. That is the inverse Z transformation for the first ROC. Second ROC, I'll take it. Mod Z less than 1. Mod Z less than 1. Mod Z less than 1, how will you do it? Mod Z less than 1 means inside 1. Here, 1. Now, what is that we are going to have? 1, 2. Where are the poles? 1 and 2. Less than. If the pole radius is less than the ROC, it leads to what? What is that? Left-handed sequence. It leads to left-handed sequence. X of n is equal to, same partial fraction you take it, minus you take it as it is. What is inverse Z transformation of Z divided by Z minus 7 with left-handed sequence? Minus U of minus, from the table, minus U of minus n minus 1. So minus of minus you will get plus U of minus n minus 1 you will get it. Next. For left-handed sequence from the table, once again, mod Z less than Z divided by Z minus 2. Keep the 2 as it is. And left-handed sequence means minus 2 you keep it as it is. Minus A power n into 2 power n into U of minus n minus 1. This is your left-handed sequence. Okay, right? Go for third one. Mod Z lies between 1 and 2. Okay, how will you do that? Now, once again, you sketch the ROC. Where are the poles? Parts are here. Between 1 and 2, we said. Where are the poles? One pole will be at 1, another pole will be at 2. So, one pole is at 1, another pole is at 2. Now, what is that we said? The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to what? Right-handed sequence. That means the first term leads to what? A right-handed sequence. The terms correspond, the term corresponding to the pole whose pole radius is greater than the ROC leads to what? Left-handed sequence. That means this one leads to left-handed sequence. This will leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Therefore, x of n is equal to, what is that you can write it? The first one is what? Less than the ROC, this pole. Therefore, and this term will become what? Right-handed sequence. So, minus U of n. And next one is what? Left-handed sequence. So, what you should do? Minus 2, you keep it as 2 into, and z divided by z minus a, left-handed means that minus a power n. Therefore, I written minus 2 power n into U of minus n. That's how we should do it. So this is the way we should do inverse Z transformation given x of z, right? So now let us go for one more problem from the examinations, right? So another examination problem. Find the inverse Z transformation of x of z is equal to z divided into z square minus 4z plus 5 divided by z minus 3 into z minus 2 into z minus 1 with ROCs. With ROCs, first one, mod z greater than 3. Second one, mod z less than 1. Third one, mod z lies between 2 and 3. Okay, right. How to do this problem? This question has repeated thrice or 4 times in the examination. Okay, right. And this was asked for 8 marks. They may ask 1 ROC, 2 ROC, 3 ROC. Depends. So majority of the papers, minimum 2 ROC they'll ask. Okay. Now you go for this. First, what you should do? Take the partial fraction for x of z by z. Therefore, one z is there readily available. Z you take it to the denominator. X of z by z is equal to, what will you get? So this is another problem. Z square minus 4z plus 5 divided by z minus 3 into z minus 2 into z minus 1, which is equal to a divided by z minus 3 plus b divided by z minus 2 plus c divided by z minus 1. Okay, right. So now you go for partial fraction. LCM, z square minus 4z plus 5 is equal to a into, divide the denominator from this denominator. Okay, divide the LCM from the denominator. What is that we have? If you divide by z minus 3, what is left out? If you divide this one by z minus 3, left out is what? Z minus 2 into z minus 1 plus b into, divide this one from the denominator. What is that? Denominator of b. So what is that? We have z minus 2 gets cancelled. What is left out? Z minus 3 into z minus 1 plus c into, divide from the z minus 1, z minus 3 into z minus 2. Okay, right. Put z is equal to, z is equal to 1. 1. What will you get left hand side? 1 square, 1 minus 4. 1 minus 4 is what? Minus 3. Minus 3 plus 5. Minus 3 plus 5 is 2. 2 is equal to 1 means this becomes 0. 0 anything 0. This also z is equal to 1 means 1 minus 1 0. This also becomes 0. What is left out? Last one, c into 1 minus 3 is minus 2 and 1 minus 2 is minus 1. This minus minus gets cancelled. This 2 gets cancelled. Therefore, c is equal to 1. Put z is equal to 2. 2 square, 4. 2 square is what? 4. 4 plus 5, 9. 2 into 4, minus 8. Minus 8 plus 9 is what? 1. So therefore, 1 is equal to 2 means this also becomes 0. Only b will be there. b into 2 minus 1, minus 1. 2 minus 1, 2 minus 3 is minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Therefore, b is equal to minus 1. Put z is equal to 3. Put z is equal to 3. 3 square, 9. 9. 3 into 4, 12. 9 minus 12, minus 3. Minus 3 plus 5. Minus 3 plus 5 is 2. 2 is equal to 3. A into 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 gets cancelled. Therefore, a is equal to 1. So we got all the values a, b, c. So x of z by z. X of z is equal to what? Directly we can write it. Cross multiply this one here and write down the values of a. A is what? 1 into cross multiply, what will you get? Z divided by what? Z minus 3. B minus Z, B is what? Minus 1. Z divided by Z minus 2 plus C 1 plus no Z divided by cross multiply this Z, you will get Z, Z, Z here, and ABC value 1 minus 1 plus 1. So 1 minus 1 plus 1 Z divided by Z minus 1. That's it. Now you go for sketching the ROC and write down the x of n. From okay, first one, first ROC, I'll take it. The first one is, what is that we have? Mod Z greater than 3. Mod Z greater than 3 means what? Outside. Where are the poles? Poles are at where? 1, 2, 3. Okay, right. So now what is that? You can write it. X of n is equal to, if the pole radius is less than the ROC, it leads to what? Right-handed sequence. Right-handed sequence. All the three are right-handed sequence. First one is what? Z divided by Z minus A is what? 3 power n into U of n. Minus you write as it is. Z divided by Z minus 2 power n into what? U of n from the table. And plus U of n. That's second one. Second ROC. What is that we have? Mod Z less than 1. Mod Z less than 1. Mod Z less than 1 is what? Inside. This is the ROC. Where are the poles? 3 poles. 1, 2, 3. And if the pole radius is greater than the ROC, it leads to what? Left-handed sequence. Therefore, x of n is equal to what? All of them are left-handed sequence. You take it from this one. But this is left-handed means what? Minus standard format is what? Minus 3 power n into U of minus n minus 1 from the table. Z divided by Z minus 3 for left-handed sequence. If you see from the table, this is minus is there already. Minus of minus plus 2 power n into U of minus n minus 1 plus Z divided by Z minus 1 from the table. Left-handed sequence minus U of minus n minus 1. That's how we should do it. Okay, right. Third one. So what you should do? Go for the sketching of the ROC. ROC is what? Mod Z lies between where to where? Where are the poles? Poles are at where? This is 2 and 3, no? So poles are at 1, no? This is 2, this is 3. ROC is between 2 and 3. Now, what is that we have? The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is less than the ROC leads to what? Right-handed sequence. The terms corresponding to the poles whose pole radius is greater than the ROC leads to what? Left-handed sequence. Therefore, this will lead to left-handed. These two will lead to right-handed. So, the terms with 1 and 2 right-handed. That means this 1 and 2 means what? 1 and 2. These two are right-handed. The first one is left-handed. Therefore, what is your x of n?